Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and I'm so happy and proud to say I am in Santa Monica, California today, and I am covering AI Vibes. This has been an amazing conference hosted by Tal Navarro and her squad and her team. They put on an amazing event. I have Ben Shea here from Synapbox. And Ben, I understand you just got done with the pitch competition and some other things. We're going to get into that, but first off, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Adam. It's good to be here.
All right, Ben. So lots of fun. You just got off stage. Like, how do you feel?
Yeah, it's been, starting off, it's been a wonderful day here. I love
Yeah.
this event, AI Vibes, out in Santa Monica, and really was able to meet some very interesting people like yourself, right, throughout the whole day. The pitch competition was great. Amongst fellow entrepreneurs on stage, spreading the word, getting our mission out there to an audience that will really help us develop our branding, our messaging throughout the tech ecosystem in the area.
Yeah. Were you, I see founder, were you always an entrepreneur? Like, was that always a piece of you?
Yeah, it's my third startup now.
So you like pain. No, I'm just...
I might be a little bit sick in the head, I think, for the most part.
All entrepreneurs are. This is a real entrepreneur show. If anybody's been listening for a while, you're not the first person to say that.
You need to have drive, and you need to be a little bit funky in the mind.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, my journey for this one in particular is I used to work in venture capital, where I was investing in seed to Series A startups. We also ran corporate innovation programs. I ran programs for like American Express, Infinity Motors, and that's actually where I met my co-founder, Christina De La Pena. Forbes 30, MIT Innovators, been an innovator in the neuromarketing consumer research space for over a decade. And then we really got together to develop this new version of Synapbox, where essentially it's a fully automated solution that uses emotional AI, eye tracking, surveys to understand both biometrical and rational behavior of consumers to really measure creative engagement for like advertising, packaging, and the things that they see to understand what makes them tick.
So, I mean, lots of different things that you could have done, a lot of different areas you could have gone in AI or otherwise. Like, how did this idea come about? Was it like an aha moment? Was it a like gradual? Was it a like how did you get this idea?
Yeah, so really I was the one that identified that this was a good idea. I want to give credit to my co-founder, Christina, on this one. She really developed it, but I really saw this opportunity from two perspectives. First of all, because I had the opportunity to work with her, but also with the client. In this case, it was Infinity, and I just saw that the clients loved it, right?
Yeah.
And I really saw that there was a good fit there in terms of what the pain point in the customer journey was. So from a business perspective, I knew it was going to be a banger, right? It was going to work, right?
Yeah.
So I had a sort of inside information there to really help me make that jump.
Well, and looking at it too, because for you to jump over to the other side from the listening to pitches to then giving them, like you're going to the other side of the game. It's a thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I literally packed my bags and moved to San Francisco to really develop this idea.
Yeah.
But I really saw the commercial applications of this product, and that's where I believe. But even from a personal basis, right? I've been very interested in how people unconscious behaviors, right? I'm also used to be a professional poker player, so reading people was a part of the thing. Obviously, in negotiation tables, you really have to understand what they're telling you, but also what they're not telling you to understand this. And as human beings, we often miss out a lot in terms of what people may see or what they think, and then the idea of like, oh, why don't we just get the machine to conduct these interviews so we can really catch all the nuances, every smile, every tick, and being able to collect all this information at a very large scale to really understand, how humans really engage with what they see. I just found that fascinating at a very personal level. They're really the two reasons that I found it personally fascinating and we can make money.
So what did your and I'll give you why I'm asking this question. So my background, just to share a little bit. So I was in finance for almost 14 years. I managed a book under a little under 200 million. So I wasn't a $1 billion guy or anything, but I was comfortable. And I know when I went off to be an entrepreneur, and that's why I said you went to the other side. When I went to the other side from just my nice, clean, whatever office, and like I'm the white, whatever, like laced, whatever, however we're supposed to say that saying, just straight as an arrow finance guy to being an entrepreneur and to pursuing it something else. My whole network was like, Adam, what are you doing? Are you crazy? And I was going into media, so at least you went into AI and technology, so that's probably a little bit more respected. If you would have went into media, they might have said you're crazy. But like, how did everybody like respond to this?
I think the idea itself was very novel, so it was kind of understandable.
Okay.
And I would just explain things that probably, well, a lot of people would say, right? You got to take your shots early in life. Worst case scenario, I can always go back if things don't really work out.
That's what I would tell myself, but that's not true. I couldn't.
That's what we tell other people to make ourselves feel better, right?
But in reality, no. Once you cross over, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not speaking for you. I was like, that's what
I completely agree. And again, I think it goes back to our first point, right? It's the mindset. I think we obviously both are quite adventurous in that sense, and we don't like to sit still. And I think that's really one of the traits where a lot of entrepreneurs have, right, and founders, that they're always looking for something. They're really looking to push the edge. Really put themselves out there, right, to really figure out what they're really about.
What's in the name? What's in the name?
Synapses, in a box.
Yeah.
Synapse box. Does it get, and a little tip here, keep things simple and obvious is a really good way to do branding and messaging, and that's really where it came from, that we're looking to measure people's synapses,
Yeah, that's awesome. Best explanation. Synapses. And it's in a box. I'll take it. So we're entrepreneurs here, big entrepreneur audience, business owners. Let's dream for a bit here. What's your vision for this company? Like in your wildest dreams, what's the vision?
Yeah, so the vision's definitely evolved over time. And as everyone knows, with the advent of these large language models and creative AI in particular, we can generate on a whim images, videos. However, what we see is lacking is that how these images and videos and content can resonate with the target audience. So the personalization isn't quite there yet. So in the near future, and we're already working on this in the background, is that we want to train creative AI with our unique database of contextualized human emotions in order to create a automatic flywheel where we can use AI to create content, but also go and test it with a specific target audience, optimize it automatically, and continue this process until you create a banger, right? Imagine you have you want to put your ad for this show to make sure that every entrepreneur will click on it, right? So we want to figure out what entrepreneurs like, what do they value, how does it match up with your brand, create the first version of that, test it with them, make the iterations, whilst you're just sitting at home chilling, right? And then make sure that, okay, well then, come back to me and I want to ensure that this is going to get X amount of impression points. I want the click-through rates to be, at a certain level, right? And I want to make sure that every ad dollar I spend, I'm going to get a good return on that. And that's essentially where we see it, where we train creative AI with real consumer preferences, super granular, to create highly personalized content.
What kind of adoption have you gotten so far? And I don't mean like numbers or clients, things like this. I mean like, what's the feedback is what I mean.
Well, I can talk about clients and traction so far. We're still an early stage company.
I know you just did a pitch, but I'm not trying to put you through the ring. I know you.
But it's a good time for me to show off a little bit now.
Do it. I love it. I'm in.
So we're very fortunate. This is a very large market. Over $100 billion in size, and we grabbed a little piece of the pie for ourselves. Over $1 million in revenue last year.
I like pie. Congratulations. That's amazing.
On track to at least double, maybe triple. Our big clients today include Anheuser-Busch.
Wow.
So beers, Modelo, Corona, those kind of things. Bimbo Grupo, so think Tacky, Sara Lee. We also work with some media companies like Warner, Discovery, Televisa, Univision. We also signed Netflix just about a month ago to help them test out their trailers. We're also in two regions, active in both in the U.S. as well as LATAM. And the most interesting part to really look at is our database. It's really rich data. We're very much focusing on U.S. Latinos right now. That's a big bucket where a lot of our clients are asking for, hey, we can't just bucket them all into the same thing. What do first generation people like? What do third generation, Florida.
Isn't that so interesting how we like in the past would bucket? So when we talk about like personalization, it's like
Yeah.
even just not just we at some point most of us got good enough to at least recognize different countries, right? Americans a little insular, right? We got the board, we are who we are. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But now to even think about like experience or immigration pattern or generation or when they did or preference, because they're all different users, all of them, different bases for sure.
Exactly. They're all different. And what's really changed is that they're really seeing it affect their bottom line, right? That if they throwing out this generic content out there, it's just not sticking, right? And then especially in this super, competitive environment, because small companies now, they can create really cool ads. And if they know that, hey, I'm going to target third generation only Latinos in LA, they're going to win, right? Because they know exactly what their values are. They can evolve their brand identity and value amongst that and really match it with some very simple and easy to understand creative, creative communication, right?
For sure.
With third generation, much more fluent in speaking English. You can get a bit more complicated of a message. But if you're selling to a first generation, for example, you need to keep it really simple, because if they don't understand what you're trying to tell them, then how can they buy?
For sure.
And we saw that even in a recent Super Bowl study that, with simple messaging, you have higher retention scores, which correlate to 6 points higher in purchase intention overall.
That's real money.
So
That's real money.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. They didn't care before because things was working, but now
that's
things aren't
real
working. They're
money.
like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah. And it's only going to get even more personalized. Then it's going to come down to names and this and add like the dynamic and this and that. Like it's just going to get further and further personalized, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it because to me it's a better experience. Like it's a better experience.
It's better experience. The opportunities are already there.
Yeah.
You can already do hyper targeting on YouTube, right? You can
For
get your ad
sure.
in front of who you want. To the age, to the location, right? But then why are you still sending a general ad to them? Right?
Yeah.
If you can already, if it's already set up,
It's
like,
called flushing your money down the toilet. That's why you're
Exactly,
doing it because you don't know any better yet.
you don't know any better. You don't figure out what your audience wants.
Yeah.
An example I gave was, Pepsi. A few years ago, they launched a campaign with Kendall Jenner, who essentially, got ridiculed by the public, right? Because they were, making it look like a small deal, like the social movements and stuff. And that completely destroyed their reputation for a bit. They lost a bunch of sales.
Yeah, it was bad.
Stock price went down a little bit.
Which who would have thought like a misstep in marketing could do that with a company like
Exactly.
that that's been around for decades. So
decades.
all of that brand equity, all that money,
God.
thousands and thousands of people that have worked to get it where it's at, and one misstep, it's like it's scary.
It's
to me,
scary,
it's scary from the standpoint of like the bigger you are. Like I always tell people, like they're like, "Oh, Adam, why don't you do this?" I said, our level right now is a luxury. It's a luxury to try and be smaller for certain things as long as you can while you're figuring out some things. Because you get that much whatever in many businesses, not just media. Like it's danger.
It is
It's danger, and there's
Pepsi was big enough to survive,
Yeah,
right?
but
If it was imagine there's our companies,
Or
right?
imagine
We're
a
not getting through
or
that.
imagine a CPG company that hit this wave and it just grew during the pandemic, and now they misstepped and they have all these employees and hired up. I mean, it's real things. Like people's families are affected. Like jobs
to
are
feed.
lost. Like it's real things. Mortgages.
10,000 employees, that's 10,000 families, right?
Yeah. So then you look at that, and then you think about like what is at stake with the marketing campaign, or like the reach and the tools we have, and like what we do. Like it becomes more and more serious. Like where a misstep in the past wouldn't have got to everybody. Now,
Yeah.
gotta be careful.
Exactly, and we really feel like what we're doing is very important to the whole workflow in the marketing systems.
Yeah.
And I got asked this question, right? Oh, hey, my brand identity is a little bit confusing, and the answer to that is because you probably haven't, you're making too many assumptions of what your audience really wants.
Yep.
Maybe what you're assuming was what they wanted last year. Man, my preferences changed from yesterday to today. Why are you assuming that?
Mine
whoever you're
changed
trying-
from this morning.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that's why, testing all the time and making sure you just have a pulse is like almost an insurance policy, man.
For sure.
If you're not if you don't know who you're selling to, then how can you convince them to do anything? Whether it's trying to sell them a beer or you're trying to win their vote, right? Elections are coming up. These are, you know who you're selling to, know who you're talking to in order to really get their attention and, push them in the direction you want them.
Amazing. Well, Ben, this has been great. I know you got to get back to the conference. That being said, I want you to look into the camera, tell everybody how they can follow you, your company, learn more.
Yes. Well, thank you Adam, for today. It was lovely chatting to you. You can find me on LinkedIn at Ben Shea. I'm sure the details will be there. You can go to the website sanapbox.com. And if you are in either marketing capacity or creative or in consumer insights, we would love to talk to you. And we're also raising money soon. So in that case, for anyone in those personas, please say hello.
Wonderful. And for everybody listening, we'll put that information in the show notes. So you can just click on the links. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new founders, co-founders, movers, shakers, thought leaders, people that are out there making real things happen. And we hope that their stories inspire you. You're going to get a notification each and every day. Hit that subscribe button. We don't want you to miss anything. And Ben, again, thank you so much for making time for us.
Yep, great podcast. Do subscribe, guys. All right,
Awesome.
thank you very much.
Thank you.